Have you ever had the timing belt on your car break?
Well, it can cost thousands of bucks to repair that. This morning, we're going to show you how to save money on that repair with our Monday morning mechanic, David Rogers from Keller Brothers Auto Repair. Hi, David.
Hey, Tom. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
Good.
Boy, are you right about that timing belt business. Those things break and it causes a serious mess, especially if your car has an interference engine, which most seem to today, especially the Asian models. The timing belt itself is really not that much different from another belt. Well, this one is, as you can see. But basically, they have the ribs or the teeth here to catch on the gears, and they travel around pulleys. Many of them actually drive the water pump. These are little water pumps, and you can kind of see how that belt fits right on there and it drives it. Now, lots of different things can cause a timing belt to fail. The number one is age. Most vehicles say that you should replace the timing belt around 90 or 120,000 miles. I'm here to tell you I've seen them break at 45, 50,000 miles, even, and more commonly around 80. So typically I'm going to tell you, don't wait until the last possible minute according to your manual to replace it, because when it does break, as Tom said so astutely, thousands of dollars. Another thing that can cause a timing belt failure is actually the water pump itself. As I noted before, they're driven often by the timing belt. So if the water pump seizes and your belt's locked up on here and then the water pump seizes and the belt tries to keep going, something's got to give, and obviously the rubber is weaker than the steel, so it's going to break that belt. Another thing that we see with the water pumps is, and things that cause them to seize, are that they actually become damaged inside. Now these are the same, pretty much the same unit, and you can see how this plastic impeller works a lot like a, it pushes the water along as the belt drives it, so it washes the coolant through the engine and keeps things cool. Well, when this thing seizes or begins to come apart like this one has, it's going to break, go into the system. It could break the belt, could cause a lot of other cooling system failures. So another good reason to think about flushing the coolant as well as changing the timing belt. Here's a water pump. You can kind of, that's probably not the sound you want your engine to make while it's traveling along. You can see that it doesn't even, it's not traveling smoothly or steadily. This one's seized and through a belt as well, aside from making a bunch of noise. Now, here's what happens with a timing belt. This is a little display I've made for you, and it basically has valves. These sit on top of your pistons, and you see how this one's bent? Well, that's exactly what happens when a timing belt breaks inside an interference engine. So when that engine, is traveling along, your pistons under there are big cylinders, and they're pumping up and down to the force of the motor. And then these valves are up above it doing the same thing. Well, what happens, a timing belt makes sure that they never meet. They time perfectly. When the belt breaks, bang. And when they smack like that, this valve's going to get bent because, again, it's the weakest thing in the chain. So we definitely don't want to let that happen. When you do a timing belt, there's a couple things to think of. One, always change the water pump. We're already in there. It's behind the belt. It's going to save you hundreds of dollars in labor. And another thing, and think of this, the water pump, it isn't just a matter of if it's going to fail, it's a matter of when. So why wait? There are also these tensioners. These are hydraulic tensioners and mechanical tensioners. These keep the belt tight. You don't want any slop in the belt. You don't want any play. So make sure and replace the tensioners and the water pump. And flush your coolant. No matter what color your coolant is, make sure you've got new, fresh coolants in there. And the last thing I'm going to say today, just a little jab for what's going on in the news. This thing with the Broncos, I've had it, okay? If you want to play football, come down and see me. We'll play football. I'm not joking. No more complaining, whining, baloneying. Seriously, though, come down. We're giving these away with a full synthetic oil change, so I just thought I'd let everybody know.
Yeah. I like that.
Play football with
Come
us.
play football and flush your coolant.
And we won't cry and tell them that we want to be traded.
I want to.
All right.
Thanks, David.
Thanks,
Take
David.
care.
6:18 on this Monday morning. We'll come right back. Take a look at the unseasonably warm temperatures heading through St. Patrick's Day onto the vernal equinox. Natalie, it's coming up this week.